It's your boy Comedic Energy, and this is Dirty Mouth Radio. Dirty Mouth Radio, produced by Livewire Sound and Entertainment. This is the special edition, Sharda-lations. All about Shardae. So I'm just...
I'm back. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So just like last episode, I'm a student out here. So she's running the show. I ain't running shit. I had something. Damn, I done lost my train of thought just that damn quick. Oh well. You go ahead, Shardae. It's all yours.
All right. So today, I want to base our topic around vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Oh, shiznit.
Okay. I guess before we do that, it just came back to me. How about we all introduce ourselves? Because we do have a special guest in the building. Sorry, we drinking a little bit, so you know, mine slips sometimes.
Mimosas.
Yeah. So we're gonna go around the room like I already said. This is Comedic Energy.
Oh, this is my name is Love, y'all.
Your girl Golden. It's Shardae.
So we got Love from the
Love Boat.
from Supreme Discussions from a Feminine Perspective. Also produced by Livewire Sound and Entertainment.
Yes, sir.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right now. So you're going to tell us how to love ourselves and then reciprocate that love in relationships too? You going to help us out with that a little bit?
I'll put my little 2 cents in. We'll see how that goes.
Right
No,
now.
I need 5 cents.
All right. I think I got 5.
You got 5?
Yeah.
I need 10 cents.
I got all the cents for you.
Hey,
yeah.
I got a quick question.
Here we
Okay.
go.
Have y'all ever wondered why the 10 cents is smaller than the 5 cents?
Why?
Why? Do you have a reason?
I don't fucking know.
Oh my gosh. All right, so Shardae, you go ahead and kick this off, man. This is all you now.
All right. So the question is, how can we embrace vulnerability in ourselves and within our culture?
Embrace. Say that one more time.
Embrace vulnerability within ourselves and our culture. So I guess we can just go around and what is vulnerability to you? So then.
Oh, me up the person that hates being vulnerable and doesn't want to show that part of me. What does that mean?
What do you when you think about vulnerability or being vulnerable?
I
what does it
think
look like to you?
it shouldn't be, but I feel like it's a sign of weakness.
Ooh, and I'm tapping into that because that's
interesting.
that is.
So y'all can go to the next person because I ain't got no.
I think vulnerability is you being your authentic self and without fear of judgment by others. So to me, it's just you being comfortable in your skin, saying how you feel, feeling how you say, and not fearing everybody else's opinion of you.
That's interesting. Vulnerability for me. I think vulnerability is being able to open yourself up to the core of who you are and to somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So being vulnerable, of course, it is weakness. It is. It's your weakest state. It's the core of who you are. You protect yourself. So it's your innermost self.
Your real estate.
Yes, all the way down to the core of who you are that you're opening up for somebody else. That's the best way I can describe it on the fly. There you go.
All right. Great.
Oh, it's my turn. Vulnerability is a compilation of all that. I mean, it's definitely a vantage point. It's a weak point in your defenses. Of course, the body is the armor. So when you allow somebody to, when you reveal your vulnerability, you're basically revealing your inner self. which means that you remove the body and you allow your inner self to show. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a weak spot. I mean, because your vulnerable point can be your most powerful point. You feel me? It could be a trap.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So vulnerability, what I would like to say, I don't like being vulnerable because I don't like asking people for help. I don't like anybody seeing me be weak. But vulnerability can also be courage. I think is the birthplace of every meaningful experience that we go through. And like everybody else has said, you know, when you break it down, you got to take off all those layers, but you can't truly be your authentic self unless you investigate and discover what has made you cover up those vulnerability points.
I see what you're saying. That's interesting.
Basically, how do we feel if we are able to unpack and investigate everything that has brought us to those vulnerable moments? Because sometimes we don't have control over what has made us become vulnerable. That could be your upbringing, your gender, your race.
Yeah.
You know, your beliefs, whatever it may be. So how can we work on being more authentic to ourselves? Because I feel like a lot of people put on masks, and that's why we aren't able to, you know, connect with one another. I feel like vulnerability is really a bridge for us to connect. If everybody was their authentic self, we could connect more.
And it really sounds...
Well, I mean... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Justin.
Damn.
Craig, go ahead. Go ahead, Craig.
Government activity on the radio. But anyway, that was definitely a vulnerable moment in Freedom's career.
Sorry.
Nah, but nah. Okay. All right. As far as like being our original authentic self, like I really want people to be more authentic, but like it's almost kind of like when you when you in your house and you yourself, you know what I'm saying, you who you are because you feel comfortable around yourself. I mean, some people do, not everybody does. But when you step out into the world, it's like so much information and so much things that can like just bring you down and destroy you. It's kind of like you almost feel like you have to put on like your full regalia, your full armor to just be, to just protect your inner soul
that's
from
what I
all the damage that you're gonna receive out here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like
you do have to protect yourself, but at the same time, only people that you trust, you need to, I think, reveal.
But how do you develop trust for a culture that is basically living inside of a crab bucket where everybody's pulling each other down, trying to climb to the top? Nobody cares about who you are, directly. They just want to know what you can do for them. You know what I'm saying?
And I was going to elaborate on what you were saying as far as like covering up and protecting yourself and putting on masks. That's why I said I felt like vulnerability was a weakness, because people will use your vulnerabilities against you. You know, they will use that to hurt you or for their best interest.
But that's when you got to be true to yourself, know who you are. You're not gonna, you're gonna fail at some things, and putting yourself out there is, may feel like a weakness, but at the same time, I always say your testimony or what you've been through is somebody else's lifeline. You don't know. Somebody may try to put you down, but at the same time, you may help somebody.
Here's my question. Do you have to sacrifice your authentic self in order to protect yourself? Is that something that we all feel like we have to do? Do we have to be someone that we are not in order to protect ourselves from whatever may come?
I don't
necessarily feel that way. So like when we say we got to protect ourselves and all this stuff, maybe we develop different mechanisms other than not being who we really are. Because so my feeling is once we accept ourselves and just be who you are in general, just like you're just being yourself, you can develop mechanisms to protect yourself from the person that's coming to attack you, or from the person that's coming to steal something from under you. But does that mean that you have to change to conform to that person, or for the people that come
No.
No, you don't.
But I mean, like, but this too, like, is that changing or is that adaptation? Like, are you adapting to the situation and scenario? Like, does that necessarily mean
Yeah.
that you're altering who you are? Like, maybe that's just who you are. Maybe you're just protective. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean that that's not who you are. Like, maybe you're just a protective person, and that's
Or
just
maybe
how
you're
you
just
are.
protecting your most vulnerable points. Like you are being your authentic self, but there's some areas that you're not gonna let people into, and there's some
Right.
weaknesses that you're not gonna show around certain people because you can't.
I think the adaptation was key because you do have to adapt. How you present yourself in the household, since we're dealing with relationships, in a relationship is totally different than how you are outside in the external environment.
Right.
I feel like you do have to adapt to that. You have to be a little stronger out in the external environment than you do in your relationship. In your relationship, you do have to peel those layers off. It's like an onion. You do have to peel those layers off for your mate, your spouse, whoever you are with. You have to.
I feel like that's
that's
any
interesting.
relationship. I have friendships.
Yeah, but that's
as well.
vulnerability.
It's vulnerability. Like
That-
you have to get to your most, because I feel like you not really being true if you don't unpack.
Yeah, I agree.
But see, but
The
then
real
another
thing.
thing about my bad.
Go ahead.
Another thing about what Comedic was saying about like peeling off the layers and allowing your counterpart to see like your vulnerability. The only reason that you're doing that is for them to understand. Because like when you're in a relationship, you're working as a team. Like you got to think of it like as warriors. You know what I'm saying? We both here to protect each other's vulnerable spot. You know what I'm saying? So my vulnerability is still not really a vulnerable spot because you're there to fulfill that area that there's nothing there to protect. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
like
still.
filling each other's voids. Is that what you're saying?
You said what?
You're saying like filling each other's voids. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, filling each other. Well, basically taking up guards in each other's weak points. Like you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like if I'm
I see
weak in
what
this
you're saying.
area,
Yeah.
you're good in this area. You stand in this
gotta ask for
position to protect me from these outside forces that's trying to you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
defeat me and shit.
But what if I
You feel
don't
me?
know that you're weak in that position? You gotta
Well,
ask.
that's-
Sometimes, we as people are too prideful and we don't want to ask as well.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right about that shit. Motherfuckers, some people just don't want to know. They don't want to know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true too. Damn.
I think, in adding to that, right? Because we've said that vulnerability is a form of weakness. We've thrown that weakness word around a couple times here, and I think my fear is that we all don't know where that mindset comes from. Why is being vulnerable?
Because that's what
quote
you've been
unquote
taught
weak?
in what's that society. If not,
But then something
no.
has supported that, right? So
Yeah.
like we've been taught that being vulnerable is weak, but then what have we gone through in our life that has supported that
It's weak.
idea?
Well, because maybe you have revealed your true self or something that was traumatic or something that happened to you to somebody else and they use it against you, or they made fun of you, or it was something negative that resulted from you revealing your truth.
Okay, so then why do you feel like that makes you weak? Why doesn't it
Make
make
them
the other
weak.
person weak to feel that way about you being strong enough to reveal your quote unquote weakest moment or your or being open to being vulnerable?
Well, I
And they
guess at the
reject
time-
that. Why can't you say to yourself, or
I'm
why
strong.
can't we as people
Yeah.
say to ourselves, no, I was a strong one. This is not me being weak. This is me being open. This is me being me.
Because whatever the person did or the world did or whatever, it hurt. It hurt that
Right.
you were open enough to share that or be that way, and you were rejected or made fun of or whatever. That hurts. So that's why you like, I'm not doing that again.
But and then
Right,
that
and-
goes
and then
to
maybe-
that goes down the line from
Right.
relationship to
From
relationship,
relationship.
whether it be romantic or not. And it just becomes a stigma within yourself. So in my opinion, we should all be considering the fact that, or considering to accept ourselves and not put a label of weakness on our vulnerability, no matter what happens, whether we're being accepted or rejected, you know. I just don't think, and I know it's easier said than done. Like, come on, like I've been in that.
Everybody
place.
has feelings, right?
You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I said I think it's courage. From what you said, I think it's courage for you being able to stand out here, butt ass naked, and let whatever vulnerability you have, let it be known to the world. I mean, that's just what it is.
But you gotta think about like where people are in like their life. Like everybody doesn't have like those powerful figures to help them through those times and points in their life where they were vulnerable. Like some people get criticized and they get destroyed by like being themselves, and they don't have anybody to pick them up or show them that, hey, like this was just really you being bold and being strong. And that's why that's a lot of times why later on down the line it just kind of builds up inside of your brain as being like, yo, I will never do that shit again. You know what I'm saying?
That's why you have a lot of suicide going on to this day, because some people have shared information.
Lord, please let us not talk about this subject again.
Suicide, depression,
That's why I'm just
anxiety.
saying, I'm being honest, and that's my point of this. Like, how can we be vulnerable and help the culture? Because there are younger people coming up under us who don't, you know, you got social media now, people taking videos, embarrassing people. Like, how do we get to the place where we're helping each other and letting people know a vulnerability is courage?
I think that it would start with all the people who are already strong and know that, to encourage the people, you know what I'm saying, who are not being authentic and being themselves, to like, you know what I'm saying, vocalize that, you know what I'm saying, be more free and be more you know what I'm saying, exhibit more courage or whatever. Like like people who are weak can't help themselves because they don't know how. But people who are strong have been in the same places and they've come out of that because somebody else helped them. So it takes us to really like help people. Like, first of all, you got to figure out, you gotta know people. So you gotta talk to them. You know what I'm saying? See what happened to them in their past and like try to figure that shit out and help them walk through it. But not, you know what I'm saying? Don't just be all barbaric and bolting through their damn defenses and shit and trying to make them be what you think they should be, because everybody's different. You know what I'm saying?
And then
Take time.
I feel like also we got to figure out how to get people to have tougher skin. And I know it starts from when you were younger, because like I guess it comes from everybody wants to be accepted, but that's not going to always happen. So I guess I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. I guess like when we are children, like they want to give everybody a participation award and everybody is winners.
It's like that no child left behind bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, somebody has to be the loser.
Yeah.
And you got to start with the hurt.
That's true though. It's like that shit.
You're the one who lost. Yeah, you stuck.
No.
Not like that.
You just weren't a winner
It builds
this time.
character.
But
Being a loser builds character.
it
Or
definitely
losing,
does.
not being a loser. Losing.
Yes,
Right.
you just didn't win this time. That's all.
It paints a realistic picture for the young kid that, okay, there will be a winner and there will be a loser.
Right.
Not everybody is gonna actually win. That shit, it's like the smallest shit at the time, but that shit resonates so much later on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because then when they go out into the real world, like all through high school, you've been getting the participation award, and then when you go get the job, then you get passed up on the promotion, and you think it's the end of the world.
Hell yeah. And that kind of feeds into like entitlement.
Right.
You know? That shit is like, oh, I'm who I am, so I should get it. I should get something. No, motherfucker, if you didn't meet the criteria, you ain't gonna get it.
But what if I did and I still ain't get damn picked?
Well, then, so that happens too.
That takes me to another point. Do y'all think that bullying is completely bad?
No. I say that. And the reason why I say that is because just like what we just said, it does build character. It makes you tougher.
Yeah, it does.
Bullying is bad.
No.
If any children, bullying is bad. Do not bully anybody.
Well, think it's the extent of the bullying.
Because
like,
and that's where I was
when
going.
we were children, we either have been bullied, seen somebody getting bullied, or were the bully.
I think with today's age, the social media fucks it up even more.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the bullying that we dealt with, the bullying we dealt with was just regular nitpicking and
I
shit.
feel like it was different. Like
It was a long time
on a
ago. It was like a
smaller
stand-up jam, like back in the day. Now,
No, I
it's
don't.
bad.
I don't think so.
It was
No.
bad. What you meant?
No.
Oh, this
I've
is
been
real.
bullied
I've
as
been
a
bullied
kid.
too.
Yeah.
As a
Bullied
kid,
like
and I did
shit.
not think that shit was funny.
But it's like,
We didn't touch the trigger, y'all.
Nah,
That
nah,
vulnerability
let's-
coming out.
I want to elaborate on that though. But from the bullying back then, how has it made you now? That much tougher,
Oh,
right?
That shit
Right,
made
but
me
also,
hard,
like I
nigga.
said, the extent of it is different now. Like, okay, that was at school. Okay, when you go home, you don't have to deal with that. Now the kids have to deal with it at home because now they done took it to social media.
Yeah, now that's my point with it. Like back how we didn't have social media. When we had the bullying, that shit was in the schoolyards. That's just how it was. But now in these days, because you have so much goddamn social media and shit, that shit fucks everything up and it magnifies it times 10. Now the whole world is gonna see that shit.
Right.
And that's what's causing these damn suicides and all that other shit because now you got the whole world included in your life.
Right.
So I think that's the reason why I say bullying is not bad is because how we were, it made us tougher and it made us want to overcome that shit. In today's society, it's
10 times worse.
it's not it is
worse.
10 times worse, but it tells you that you need to level up.
Right.
You got to. It gives you. It shouldn't. And
No,
I'm gonna get a lot of people mad, but I'm gonna get a lot of people mad with what I'm about to say.
Fuck it.
It's like, yeah, this is dirty mouth. Fuck that shit. But you shouldn't want to have to kill yourself
Right.
because of what somebody else is doing to you, because that shows your self-image
Stand by.
and your self-worth.
Stand by.
Stand.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Shit, can I say that though?
You can say that, and that's
Okay.
and I
One compartment.
on one end I agree with you.
Oh shit.
On one part, I agree with you because I feel like I'm that person that will not allow someone to do so much harm to me that, to a certain extent,
we
that
know.
I would want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Dominican.
However, I feel like the society we're in now is a little bit different, and people are different in general.
Yeah.
So when I think about, I'm raising a young lady. So when I think about her, and when I think about her and like whether she's being bullied or not, but I think about her mental state, what she's been provided, her life in general, and I think about myself. I can't pretend like she and I are the same person.
Yeah.
That's a very dangerous
Yeah.
position to put myself and her in,
Yeah.
because then I'd be expecting her to be exactly like how I was or how I am. And we have to, I feel, as parents or as a whole, as a society, we have to understand that not everybody's gonna, like, there's levels to it, right? Not everybody is gonna be right here at this level where nothing phases them. Shit, even us as adults, like she was saying earlier, that shit phases us. Being rejected, being made fun of, being whatever, like that shit phases us here
To this
as
day.
adults.
Yeah.
So imagine it being the only thing, like, you don't have to worry about nothing else in the world, no job, none of that. And all you have is your friends or the people that you surround yourself with. And that's like 90% of what your life is.
Okay.
And all you're faced with is someone that's bullying you, or let's put a different word to it, making you feel
Like you're less than. Like you're
Right.
not enough. Like you're not worthy
Insecure.
of anything else.
right. Who
But
am I
does-
to say
does-
that you don't feel, if you feel so bad and you're maybe not confident enough to reject it or whatever the word is, that
Or
will
maybe
make
you don't know what outside factor is. So if I'm going to school and I'm getting bullied by a child, but then when I go home, I might be getting molested, but you don't know what triggers is going on at home.
I didn't take all that.
I just think there's just so many, just so many different circumstances to why people, right?
Yeah.
There's so much. So like, it's not unrealistic for you to feel that way, but I think you feel that way because you're that way.
Yeah.
And I think when we take ourselves out of our shoes and just, explore the world in a different, and just open your eyes a little bit more, then it's a little bit easier to accept what someone else might do.
But I think too,
because I definitely feel you.
I think too, like,
I ain't trying to be the bad guy out here.
No, you could be the bad guy. That's fine.
I think too,
but it also goes back to hurt people. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what bullies do. They want to put other people down to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Or they're jealous, or they see
a lot
something.
of bullying is vulnerability. That's kind of how they show.
They attack your vulnerable spots.
They attack your vulnerable spots because they're vulnerable. You get what I'm saying? That's what a lot of bullying is about. They're picking on somebody that's a little bit maybe shyer than them.
Smaller.
And so they're trying to level up pretty much and push the other person down.
Right.
But then you, as that person get pushed down, need to say, nah, fuck that. You ain't gonna push me down.
But as you, Mr. Strong, Superman.
I was bullied a lot when I was younger, yo. I be totally real. I had this one dude. This motherfucker was getting on my goddamn nerves.
Was his name Craig?
Nah.
Thankfully, you didn't bring a gun to school.
Nah, because it's like at one point in time, and I'll be real about this, because my mother told me this shit later on. I didn't even remember this shit. But she said that I got so pissed with this motherfucker that I actually choked him out. And I did not stop choking this motherfucker till they pulled me off him.
Snap.
Yes, I snapped. But that leveling up is like, yo, I'm not about to have you keep doing this bullshit.
Can you say DC public schools?
Nah, I was actually in Cali, man. I wasn't even in DC.
Oh, shit.
See, but what I'm saying is, like, at some point you have to focus on yourself and say, look, I'm not gonna deal with this anymore, but I'm gonna level myself up, not take myself out.
Or take other people out. Lord have mercy.
But what gave you the strength to do that?
The point that I was, from what my mother said, she said I was just tired of it.
I used to. That happened to me.
Yeah, I got tired of it, and I told her every day. So my mother was strong, right? She said, you better not throw the first punch, but you damn sure better throw the last one. So every time I kept coming home to her and telling her, like, I'm tired of this motherfucker, keep fucking with me, she said, you need to do something about it.
Damn, son, you told your mother you tired of this motherfucker fucking with you?
Well, man, come on,
you was
son.
hard.
You was like,
Mommy, I'm tired.
You OG.
But she said, I need to do something about the situation. If he's talking some shit to you, talk something back. Fight back. You don't always have to throw the punch. But if he's talking something to you or demeaning you, you need to go back at him. Yeah. It's like going back and forth, tit for tat. Defend yourself. You get what I'm saying?
Me.
So that's what I did. When it got physical, it got physical. And after that point, he did not mess with me.
And probably nobody else at the school either.
Hell no, this was all white school. They were scared as shit. This was white shit.
Y'all see this black man?
I was pretty namaste till I got to high school and shit.
I cannot imagine.
They was just whipping my ass all through elementary. And I was the grandson of a 6th grade teacher. Oh, they was letting off on my ass, boy.
Oh shit!
You talking about after school? Yeah, I was that kid that you was getting in the car with your mom and you was watching a big crowd of kids just beating the shit out of a kid. That was me.
Oh shit!
You know what? I lied when I said I've never been bullied. But you know what? Because I just remembered something.
I just learned to get fast.
But I think for me, I didn't think of it as bullying. I think we're putting a lot of labels on things now that we probably never did before.
Yeah.
So like, did you feel like when you say
it wasn't bullying?
Like, was it bullying? Was that the word that you used?
No, it was more so just.
Shit. What is it?
Wait.
Nah, that was not.
It was just it was competition. Like
it was growing up. That's what it was for.
No, I don't think we called it growing up. We called it like getting picked on. Or
getting picked on. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
But it happened generationally. Right. It still happens. Right. We just call it, and we did call it bullying back then.
I think it's bullying now because it has become worse.
That's some
really
and it's some white people shit. We just called it.
No, it isn't.
We didn't call it that shit.
Hey, if we
Well,
put
what
a
you
color
call
on
it, your
it,
ass
we
kicked
didn't
every
call it
day?
bullying. We called it growing up.
Called it being
Because even our best friends used to talk shit about us, and we used to talk shit back.
Well, that's different when it's your friends and y'all just, you know, at the end of the day, even if you're taking real shots at each other.
Hold up.
Even if you're taking real shots at each other.
Hold up.
We get bullied every
Now, the
day.
thing about that is, if you go to other cultures, that can still be considered bullying. Am I right or am I wrong? This is somebody, like, if you have somebody that you don't know doing the same shit that your friends do, isn't that still bullying?
No.
Or is it not?
No.
I think that's where we're having a problem, because cultures say bullying is talking something about somebody, fighting somebody. Anything could be considered bullying.
I think that if you know at the end of the day, even if me and you taking shots at each other, but at the end of the day, we know we still gonna be cool and ain't nobody gonna have hard feelings. Or even if you do have hard feelings, you gonna brush it off within a couple of days or something. Then that's different. But if you got somebody constantly that they says they don't like you, you know they don't like you, and they got other people coming at you like talking shit. Or trying to fight you, or everybody, they got a group of people that don't like you, and you don't have any defense, that's bullying.
Oh, okay, I see.
like you against the
But
world
that's the
type shit.
difference.
Right.
I mean, like, yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I guess we was just brought up in a different time. I mean, I know we was just brought up in a different time where it was just like, yo, even if the world is against me, like, when I get in that corner, I'm about to fight myself out of that shit. Like, it's the Muhammad Ali mentality. Like,
But everybody not built like that.
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta think about how people are raised down. Some people aren't strong.
Like the kids these days, it's like I'm not gonna say that.
I wouldn't say not strong.
I'm not gonna say that they're weak. It's just right. It's different when you got a school full of motherfuckers who's against you versus an internet full of motherfuckers who's against you. You know what I'm saying? Like the internet, that's the whole entire world. Like you can deal with like 100 kids at school just talking shit and making fun of you. Cause then once you go to high school, you can change that shit. Or you go to college, you can change shit. But when that shit is on the internet and everybody that you ever fucking will meet will find that shit, it's like, damn, like this shit gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. That shit make your ass wanna jump.
Sharkeisha shit.
What the hell is that?
You remember that
with the
shit?
hotel in Chicago?
Yeah, no. Maybe I'm getting the name wrong. But that girl that was on Instagram where they was bullying and picking on her, but she ended up killing herself. Yeah, it was like, maybe it wasn't Sharkeisha shit, but it ended up trending. Like everybody knew about this girl getting bullied, picked on, all this other stuff, and she ended up killing herself. Now,
This was a black girl?
Yeah, this was a black girl. So it's like, with this, that's why I say social media is like the biggest monster in all of this shit. Like I always say, because everybody can see the
I
shit.
think humanity is the fucking biggest monster. Like, I don't know when we became so disgusting.
It's always
and
been like that though.
just ruthless.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I don't feel like, for me, like, and maybe it's just the optimistic in me. Like, I like to see the good in people, and I try to, and you know, not everybody's good. I get that, but like, I like the tools that we have now. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it has always been like that. The tools that we have now that encourage people to be that way, though, like life for someone that doesn't have the ability to have like a defense mechanism or hasn't built that defense mechanism. That shit can be detrimental, i.e. someone killing themselves, i.e. someone being depressed, someone, you know what I'm saying, going crazy over that. Like,
But at the same,
why are we not pushing more?
but at the same,
I think
Now I say love, like,
at the same time, like, the world has always been like, has always fed off of other people's weaknesses. Like, I mean, like, if we was all loving and hugging, there would be no comedy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of that shit be fucking funny. Like,
We need
damn.
love, though. I'm sorry, Craig. I'm all about love.
Niggas get,
Well, this is what I also
ass
want to
whippings
say
is
too,
just
as far
funny.
as like
you gotta laugh at some ass whippings. Like, it just be funny. Fuck, shit.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, also, we don't really understand the role that we play and stuff too. Like, we might see something and we don't really feel like something might have gone viral, and we might not really feel like we're bullying that person because we laugh at the shit. Like, we put crying, laughing emojis under the comments, or we like it because we thought it was funny. But the person that is about, like, damn, 10 million people laughing at my ass.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, when you think about it, we bully R. Kelly and shit. We bully all these motherfuckers who gone through all that shit. Yeah, we bullied them niggas. We bullied the shit out of them.
Nobody bully nobody.
They set themselves up.
They did, but at the same time, did we not partake and make jokes about Michael Jackson, about those kids and shit? Did we not, motherfucker?
I did not.
MJ.
I mean, but see, we can't individualize it, but as a whole, it was a lot of bullying.
Yeah, did we not make fun of Martin when he was on drugs and all of these different people? We do that shit every day, and we think it's funny.
Martin who?
That's what I was just saying.
Martin Lawrence.
When he was on drugs, what was that?
Or Bill Cosby.
Before run tell that.
I'm
When
not
he
even going into that.
Yeah. During the Martin show, like, yeah, he was on crack. He was on
Crack?
Yeah, he was on a lot of shit.
Oh, but that shit made him funny in a motherfucker.
Exactly.
But a lot of people was coming after him for that shit. The Big Mama's House era, the very first Big Mama's House, he passed out.
Perry.
He passed out on set because he was on some shit. He said that shit in his interview.
I remember he passed out, but I thought it was because he wasn't eating. He was out there exercising in the sun with a sauna suit.
He said
You gotta research that.
but let's turn. I want to turn this around. You can I? Okay, so. Alright, so we were talking about something, me and Shardae and my man B Reed. Shout out to you, you know, he's a listener and shit. But him and another coworker, my man Zay, posed this scenario. So we were talking about marriage, right? So let me pose this question to y'all. So, okay, peep this scenario. So your significant other, right? So y'all been together for a minute, right? So he's talking about marriage, okay?
Let's do it.
Paint this picture.
Right.
So he's got money, right? He wants to get this $100,000 ceremony, this big caterer that's going to do the whole 9 yards.
You get the wedding of your dreams.
The wedding of your dreams. The ring of your dreams, right? Everything going great. The only thing is, he says he does not want to sign no papers saying that we are legally, by the state, married. But he loves you nonetheless. He just does not want the legalities in the situation. Say he's like a woke person. It's like, yo, fuck all that legal shit. I just, me and you. The love I have for you is no less. I just don't like all this legality shit in our
Tell me what I can
fucking.
and cannot do.
How would you feel about that? And we could go all around the room. We can start with you.
Of course. Yeah, I don't think I'd be opposed to that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
My girl.
Oh, shut up.
I wouldn't be opposed to it because I feel like it being legal and not legal wouldn't make a difference in our relationship. Only because the legality right of being married. So you can be married in many different ways.
Yes.
Right? You can be married by having a child with that person. You're married for life. When you have a child with that person, you can be married.
I don't agree with that one. Go ahead.
My gosh.
I mean, regardless of how you feel about whatever, we're not gonna go into that. But
That sounds like polyamory a little bit.
That is not polyamory.
Look at y'all in this poly
wind
lifestyle.
up
We
being
canceling that
polyamory.
today in the name of Jesus.
I mean,
you could back up with that. So that could be considered a marriage because that's something that you share for. That's gonna be something that you share for life with that person. Living after 10 years with someone, that's a marriage right there. Like just
marriage,
different
first of all, marriage ain't nothing but a union.
There's different, right? It's a union. So there's different things that can be considered a marriage. Now, the legality of it, to me, would only be like it would make it harder for someone to leave if they wanted to leave. But being married legally doesn't mean that they're not going to leave, or they're not going to go, or they're not going to cheat, or they're not going to be the best fucking person ever in your life. Like,
Reach.
So I think personally, I would be open to something like that.
That's what I'm talking about. My girl.
Go ahead,
Go ahead. For the other side. Go ahead.
Me and Comedic talked about this a little bit the other day, and making it legal is important for other aspects in life. In case you or your spouse happen to
croak and
be dead,
There's
or
a will for that.
or
Ooh, sound like somebody that said that shit yesterday.
So let's say they're not dead. Let's say that they don't have a will and they're not dead. They in ICU and they real critical. But their family, your spouse family, do not like you, do not fuck with you. And when you come up there like, oh, I'm here to see Creighton. And they said, bitch, you not his wife. You cannot come in here. You're not making the decisions. I'm his mama. And can your ass back home.
Damn.
What you gonna do?
But
Can your ass back home.
Well, I wouldn't have that problem because my husband's or my marriage partner, whatever the hell's family would love me.
Yo, damn living man. We ain't got no legality.
Right.
Yo, living.
And you never know how people
Well,
are
but that's
until
mentality.
something like that.
That's mentality. Okay, I understand the part of going to the hospital. Okay, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. I get that part, and that makes sense. However, when did it become absolute that you had to legally marry someone? We could go to the church and be married through the church.
That's the history.
Does that make it less legal?
Right there.
speaking.
Does that make it less legal?
Yeah, it's not legal. That was just a ceremony.
I think it just got cold.
That was just a ceremony.
That's them.
Because you have to legally have the marriage certificate before. I'm never doing it.
I've never been married either, so I'm
No,
not sure.
you don't.
So you can just have the ceremony and that's
You can
it.
have the ceremony.
Oh, well then
So
that's
you're married under God. So if you believe in God or if you believe in whatever higher power, that means you're married under that higher power.
It does vary state by state. It does vary state by state.
That's true that you are married in the eyes of God, but that was just a ceremony.
But see,
That was
like,
just a ceremony.
But you're married under that. But you're
The priest.
this is a point too, though. This is a point.
Other people don't know when you have to do some legal shit.
I'm listening to you.
Go ahead, Greg.
What's up?
But this is a point too. Like, y'all gotta understand another aspect of this whole marriage thing. Like, this is a human-based thing. Like, this is not a thing that is natural. Like, this shit, you gotta go in the history books and look at this shit. Marriage was devised as a business ordeal. It was never devised as a love transaction. This was strictly based off of straight.
That's what I'm getting at. This is a business. This is an
This
institution.
is strictly based off straight business between one party and another to keep things within the family or within a bloodline to grow either wealth or some type of economical growth or something like that. It had nothing to do with love. As far as like being unified as two people who are in love, you can do that shit without getting married. You don't have to get married. Animals don't get fucking married and shit. When the fuck you ever get married?
Does that mean that you are open to it or not open to it?
Not open to
With all your
not open to the legality of it.
Like, would you? What was it?
Yeah, what he just said. Are you
just
open
have a
to
ceremony.
Yeah, would you be fine in that scenario? Would you be fine with not having legal in the situation?
I mean, like, if I love somebody and I'm gonna marry him regardless of what the legality or if we gonna do it legal or if we not. You know what I'm saying? That part doesn't play a role because I don't think about that part. You know, at that point it's just like whatever baby want, that's what she gonna get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's up to the two people.
Yeah.
You know, but
So if she presented that to you, you would say, okay, I'm fine with that.
Or I'll think about it.
man, I would have to. I mean,
What about you, Shardae?
We're signing the fucking paper.
That's right.
I mean, I just feel like I get all of this. We a union without a piece of paper.
marriage license, a contract, whatever the case may be. But at the
Damn
same
license ain't nothing but a damn leash.
I would sign it. I would sign it just to
Damn.
protect.
I'm gonna leash your ass without that marriage.
I would-
That's the leash.
I know that's right.
Back it up with that damn paper.
What were you saying?
As far as it goes into when it starts, okay, when you think about it as a man, you're here to protect or whatever you're there for. So as a man, I would sign it or I would go through with it just to protect both my wife and my children. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's what this whole shit is about for me. You know what I'm saying? So if that's going to protect or ensure the protection of my wife and my children, that they can have something should something happen to me or should something happen to her, then I'll go with it. You know what I'm saying? There's no point. There's no point in denying that aspect of it. I mean, that's the good aspect of it. But as far as like how everybody wants to turn it into this whole fucking, it has to be this way. No, motherfucker, you don't need a rock on your finger. You know, you don't need to have a wedding. No, you don't need to have all these things.
No, I agree with that.
Me personally, I don't have to have a grand wedding. I don't have to have a elaborate ring, which I would love. But I would love the jewelry.
Yeah, I just gotta have a foundation though, honestly.
Yeah, that's what.
My man gonna know me enough to know. Man, you hear me out here on the airwaves. You know what I like.
But Frank, this is what I was gonna ask you. Would you be opposed to a prenup?
I'm not signing that shit.
Because that's legal. That's legal.
But that was just the same thing that you were saying. That's what made me think of it. Because when you were saying like I would do this to protect my kids and my family, would you do
protecting anybody but the other person?
it? Will protect you, the person.
So if he put the prenup up there for his spouse to sign,
Right. Or it's mutual because you guys have to agree on the final draft before it's
I
legalized.
still think that
The
ain't
prenup
love.
turns into
Like,
It's not love.
because if you love that person and you trust that person, what the fuck you need a prenup for to prove that? Like, I love you, but I'm protecting my shit in case you leave.
Right.
No, what the fuck is the love?
I remember that was that big old argument with Ray J.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh,
Ray J a porn star,
but
so who the
shit
fuck
gets
he don't even
ugly.
make up matter?
Shit gets really ugly and nasty and dirty. People fight really dirty at the end, and it's like you be looking at somebody you don't even know. You've been with this person 30 plus years. When it comes down to it, so if you had something in place in the beginning that you already agreed on, it makes the shit just easier. It's just like
Whoever
we
I
just
get married to, we ain't getting
That's not
separated.
true though. It doesn't.
We are working it out, okay? You sleep on the couch, I sleep on the room. I'm gonna come jump on your back. We gotta talk about it.
Exactly.
Man,
That don't
everybody
make
say that
sense.
shit. Everybody say that shit. Come on now.
No, but I'm really one. I gotta think about my thoughts
Like you,
before I go ahead.
like if this nigga whipping
who's
your
gonna be
ass
for-
and shit, ain't shit to think about, motherfucker.
Alright,
We
but
getting
he
a
was probably
prenup.
whooping your ass before y'all got married. So.
But my thing
Or
is,
show signs.
who is just gonna say, "All right, I'm gonna sign this prenup"? That shit does not happen in any fucking relationship. They say, "Oh, I'm gonna just sign. Okay, you give me the prenup. All right, I'll
I
sign
think
this
it's
shit."
possible if like if that person has some like a lot of money or whatever,
Assets,
and I have a lot of money, that might be a possibility where two people agree to do a
The love is in
prenup.
that
But
shit.
I personally don't
But
agree.
especially
I love
if
you
you
enough to protect my shit just in case you skate out.
Hey, my shit is my shit. Your shit is my
Look at
shit.
this situation. Look at what we talking about.
Shitting
Right
together.
Think about what we talking about. Okay, we talking about marriage, but everything that we talking about has to deal with legality. This sounds like a business conversation. This ain't even about.
That's what I was about to say. You said that in the beginning. It's a contract and it's
It's not
business.
even marriage. This is business. This is marriage between two companies. You know what I'm saying? So why do you even have to
Pretty
get
much.
married? That shit don't even. Love ain't. We ain't talking about love in this
Jump
whole
the broom.
situation.
Jump the broom, call it a day.
True. That's true.
Jump the damn broom and call it a damn day.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's all you
Do
need.
what you gotta do.
That's it.
Shit, you don't gotta go through all that extra shit. That shit is unnecessary. The fuck? Motherfucker, if you gonna have money and we gonna have money, I'm gonna give you, when you sign a prenup, it turned into a competition. Now I gotta make more, now I gotta make less than her for
Exactly.
her to give me money when we break up, or I gotta make more, like what the fuck are we doing?
Or it could even be an insecurity thing too. Like, oh well, now his stuff is his stuff, our stuff isn't together. Everything going from this point on is ours. Where's mine?
Right. And you all
Does that make sense? So like, if that person has a prenup,
Yeah.
all your shit is yours, and I don't have no shit, but now everything we have from this point on is our shit. Where's my shit?
Yeah.
What I was going to say is this too. You guys are all looking at this like everybody gets married for love. Everybody does not get married
And
for
that is
love.
why
Why the hell
there's a
you get
prenup.
married?
For
And that is
security.
why.
That's bull.
Money.
Who the hell? If you get
Status.
married for security and money, then
To get your
you
credit
got shit
together.
I mean, she ain't wrong about that.
That's true.
I mean, like, yo,
No, but I hear a lot of people say they get married for stability, though.
Right.
that's a problem. That's not a
I
problem.
mean, I don't.
Where's love in that shit?
That is
But honestly,
Well,
you
let me
need,
ask you
you need
something.
a foundation, and mine's gonna be built on friendship. Like we gotta create something first.
So there's no love in any of it?
Yeah, there's love. But
Friendship, there's love in that friendship.
what I was going to say, what is the number one reason why people get separated or divorced? Or,
Money.
Right.
So money is worth more
But
than
money,
love.
but that
But, I
that's
mean-
an umbrella though. There's a lot of things that fall under that money.
Exactly. You just can't say money. It's
There's a lot of things.
Because
that
people
fall
be
under
wanting to fuck, they be fucking.
That's a different umbrella. That's a different
We
one.
be clubbing.
I don't know, man. That shit.
Some people just get tired of smelling your old nasty stinky balls and shit. They don't want to get.
No, I just think a lot of people don't have the friendship. And once everything else is gone, when you don't have a friendship, the relationship is gone. Because you don't got sex. When you can't have sex or you can't do all other, and you don't have a friendship, you didn't base your relationship on a friendship.
True.
Hey man, my relationship has to be based on a lot of different things. Friendship, passion, man, that shit has to be passionate as fuck because I can't deal without no passion. I can't deal without like wanting to kiss your face every fucking day.
Like, yes, baby, that's my baby.
Yes.
Really?
What if he get into a car accident and his face burned up and shit and look like
That's why y'all
I'm kissing other parts of the body then. I don't care. I'm kissing
But
girls.
that's a friend. But that's
like
the thing where that
jiggling
friendship
and
comes
shit.
into.
Right.
I'm hanging up on you. Look, I'm hanging up.
That's where prenup come in, because if you get disfigured, I can't fuck with your ass.
Golden, that was me.
That was a joke. I really don't feel like it.
Oh shit.
you gotta sign a prenup at that point.
goodness.
Shit, that motherfucker.
But that's the same. Okay, so.
Oh man.
For better, and for better, motherfucker.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna go there. I was like, so some of you guys y'all are more into the looks department than we are as women. And after she done had about 2-3 babies and she done gained weight. And she don't look like that 2 liter
I can't
or
deal
that
with
Coke
that.
bottle that she was before. Now she looking like a 3 liter.
You can't get lazy though. I mean, come on now. Shit. I mean, damn.
Some people don't bounce back after the
You gotta
pregnancy,
leave
like,
something
hey,
to
you know,
desire.
somebody-
Shit. The fuck?
So
Yeah, this woman and them 3 damn kids you didn't put in her.
Exactly.
Hey,
You keep your
Beyonce
ass on the
snapped
back.
back from that shit. Ain't no excuse.
Beyonce. No, I just gotta say, Craig, you lucky you're not in this room.
Ain't no excuse about this motherfucker.
And some of y'all guys, y'all get out of shape too, drinking all them beers, that beer gut.
They got Jenny Craig pills out this bitch.
Oh, you shaming out here. You shaming.
Oh shit. Man.
I mean, damn.
Oh, my
Son,
God.
come on now. Shit. Hey, it's all of
Yeah.
this stuff you can
No,
do.
I think
can work out
I think
Our parents don't
I
play
agree
a
with
role.
that.
It
I
doesn't.
agree with that. Working out together, encouraging your woman or your man to be healthy. And I don't think it's really about what they look like. It's really more about your lifespan, like being healthy within,
Like
being
your
healthy.
lifestyle. Shit, the fuck. You not going to just
Yeah,
sit around
that's
be
true.
cooking and eating and shit. Come the fuck on.
Right. But that's a part that comes with loving your partner. That comes with respecting your partner, being able to say, hey, or being able to be vulnerable enough to accept the help from your
I'm gonna be
significant
like,
other. Like,
I'm gonna be like, come here, baby. Let me love you
Here we
while we
go.
doing these stretches and shit. Go ahead, bend over.
Look at you trying to keep another baby in her while she down trying to do Pilates.
Let's work it. Let's work it out, baby. Let's work it out. Let's get some sweat in. Let's get some squats.
I think you gotta. When we was talking last night, it was just you gotta find that mate and perfect your two-step. Shout out to B Reed for that.
Yeah, you was on it, B Reed.
Well, where is B Reed? Let's talk about this conversation because it sounds
We're gonna get him on the show. We're gonna get him on there.
It was real good though.
Yeah.
So what is the two-step?
No, just saying when you do find your mate, whatever mate it may be, you gotta perfect your two-step because no relationship is like the other. Like you gotta perfect what you got going on.
Stay in your zone with that person and just do what you do.
You know, because
shout out to my man Lex because
for
it
our
came from my man
grandparents.
Lex, but B represented that, yo.
Yeah, what may have worked for our grandparents back in the day is not gonna work for us.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back to those good old days. We just meet in high school and you just be married and y'all been together for 75 years.
Make a nigga a drink.
Oh my God.
Let him watch
Shit,
the
can you start by
Age of
someone just being like, "Can you be my
105.
woman?" Like,
Right.
you start there.
What?
Yeah,
What you say?
and this generation is a little different.
Yeah, a little.
Hell yeah.
A
All I ain't
lot.
worried
Now
about
you
is
gotta
getting
have
the
1,000
draws.
likes and shit to get some notification and shit out here.
Stop trying to date on social media. Slide in the DMs. How many DMs you slid in today?
Oh,
Hey,
my
you
God.
would be
Slide
surprised.
to the
You'd
left.
be surprised at how many people find marriage or love on the internet. And, you know, it's crazy. It's
I mean,
crazy.
it's a new way.
That should
I'm
be,
too
that should
scared.
be another.
But you just got to create that foundation, though.
I'm trying to get catfished.
Yeah. So let's talk about it on the gender role.
Oh,
since
shit.
we got a couple more
Oh, we
minutes.
can talk about these men.
Shit. Fireball.
These men not having no emotions.
What?
So you started off, Craig. How you feel about men being vulnerable, man?
I think that shit pussy. Nah.
Why we gonna start with a level-headed person?
I was reaching for that shit.
Exactly.
I found that shit too.
Bruh, that's soft, bruh. You soft, bruh. Get some balls. Get your weight up, Slim.
But I mean, I say that goes into what B. Reed said. If you were raised that way to be strong, as men, we were taught to be strong. That shit is not easy. You can't just get that shit overnight.
Yeah.
That shit is hard for somebody to do. You know?
But it may be hard, but here's the
attainable.
thing: you have to be able to be willing to open up to be that way. You have to be able to work on yourself enough. Because let me tell you something: if the woman is the only one saying, "Baby, this is how I feel. This is what I think. This is what's going on. This is what I think we should do in the future." Boom, 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 and just being open and honest and vulnerable to her man, and her man's not giving that back, like that, there's gonna be a void there. That's gonna create animosity. That's gonna create a whole bunch of problems that you don't want in your relationship. So if you're not open to at least trying, then that's a problem.
emotion are y'all looking
Yeah.
at? Like y'all want us to cry and
I
shit?
feel like women be way too deep.
Well,
I bet that no, I don't want. Because first of all, if you just continuously damn crying, I look at you like Craig said, nigga, you man up.
It's always my ass. It's always my black ass.
From us.
Words. Can you talk?
Your word.
Can you
let me know you're
Yeah.
there? Like, baby, I love you. This is how I feel. Mm-hmm.
So y'all on the sides of affection.
Gosh.
Okay,
Is that
first
what
of
y'all
all, wait.
We need to define this shit.
Let me just
okay?
explain something, okay? Not every woman is the same, number
Right.
one.
Okay.
So,
Respect.
just because I want affection and I want to be told I love you doesn't mean that Shardae wants the same thing or
Golden.
Golden. I was about to call you. Want the same thing. So you have to understand who you are with.
Right.
Now, there's gonna, and in my opinion as well, there's always gonna be a give and take, right? I'm probably not always gonna get everything that I want. You're probably not always gonna get everything that you want. But there has to be some middle ground, right? I should be able to get at least some of the stuff, and you should be able to get at least some of the stuff, if not all.
Yeah.
Fuck it, because why not?
Okay.
Right? I shouldn't have to
That
settle.
shit
You
comes
shouldn't
from
have to settle. Why
comfortability
not?
too. Like you gotta make somebody feel comfortable with.
Yeah, but sometimes that's a
divulging and
fucking
giving that
excuse.
up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Being comfortable sometimes is a fucking excuse. Okay, you create your own comfortability at times as well. So if you
I mean, but
Hell no.
you
gotta.
It ain't.
You
well,
can't
I'll
get to me
just
like
what
you
I
need to
said.
show me some more affection, motherfucker, and then think
No,
you about to
it's
just be
not all
kissing you
gonna-
from your head to your pussy and shit.
No,
Fuck
no,
that.
it's not gonna be that way. No, but if someone's giving, right? No, if someone is giving, right? Let's say it's been 2 or 3 years. If someone's giving in hopes that you get the fucking picture and get some cues, right?
I do understand.
Then bro, you gotta give some of that too.
It's about
because
compromise.
I'm gonna love you.
So it does come down.
I'm gonna love you the way I want to be loved. If I'm touching and feeling on you all the time, that means that's what the fuck I want to.
Well,
Okay. Now I agree.
You gotta love people at their love language.
Okay.
I mean,
I definitely agree.
I was trying not to say that, but yeah.
Maybe you just got
You do.
somebody who just don't know how to do that. Like then at that point in time, you
Well,
got
then
the wrong
But if
partner.
I'm showing you what I like,
Yes,
or if I've had conversations about what I like, and you still don't do it, then
But I will say, even if you show that still doesn't mean that he knows how to do it.
Right.
Just because you're showing it,
But
doesn't
at that
mean
point,
he
you
knows
gotta
how
be
to
But
willing to
showing is
learn.
also teaching.
right.
Not necessarily.
You learn in school.
But I also
You
feel
can't be
that if that person isn't doing what you need or what you want, then maybe you're not compatible.
Right.
That's two.
You better sign that
That's
prenup.
I mean, shut up.
What you say, Frank?
Sign that prenup. Get the fuck out. I mean, but I agree with you on that. It's compatibility that comes into play. But my thing is, you showing it doesn't always mean that I'm gonna get that shit just because you showing it.
No, you're right, because most of the time it's not just the person showing
Exactly.
it. Most of the time it's gonna be that person being like, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you?"
I'm
ever
gonna
blah, blah, blah?"
tell you. I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna tell you.
Well, yeah, the telling part, because some people don't
Sometimes they
get
don't
clues.
communicate.
The clues just go over the top of their head, like they don't know.
Sometimes they don't communicate. Sometimes you just show it in hopes that they will, and you don't communicate like this is where we like.
Comedic. Can
Right.
I?
And then you get mad because I ain't doing
Can
it.
I give a man's secret right now?
Yeah.
Go ahead, man's
Oh,
plan.
shit, man.
Baby Junior
You can't
Steve
break-
Harvey.
You can't break bro code, dog.
Can I give
No.
a little bit of insight to something?
Go ahead,
That
man. Go ahead.
maybe not all men
Hit him with
think
the
this
Steve
way, but
Harvey
a
shit,
lot
man.
of dudes kind of think this way.
Okay.
All right. My father used to tell me this shit, and I didn't really understand this shit until I started getting older. One thing about men is most of the time, if you just chill and stop asking for shit, you will get everything you want. You know what I'm saying? Like men have a tendency to give you exactly what you want.
That's
when you
a
not-
game.
Wait.
That's a fucking game.
not-
Yes, it is.
Let me finish.
Yes, it is.
Can I
So
finish?
you want me to be a hermit?
You can
and not
finish,
say
but that's a
shit?
game.
I can't-
You can
Yeah.
finish.
Go
I'm gonna let
ahead,
you
man.
finish.
Go
I'm gonna let
ahead.
you finish, but
The floor is yours.
But
The floor is yours.
Can I
man.
finish?
love is the best of all time.
Go ahead, Sean. We listening. We
Guys
listening.
like this, like we like to give when it's natural and shit. Not when you always constantly like, why don't you ever do this? Why don't you do that? That make you not want
I
to do this
totally
shit out. You
agree.
like, fuck it. Why the fuck?
I
If it gotta
totally
be
agree
playing the
with that.
fuck out, why the fuck do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not saying that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
right.
it
let me-
Not saying that
let
that's
me-
right.
let me-
But that's just how guys are. Like we like to give you the stuff
Yeah.
that you want as a surprise. If you always expecting it, then it ain't never gonna be a surprise. It's like, oh, this is what you supposed
It's
to
like-
do.
So I gotta wait 5 years to
right?
shut up for
No.
5
So
years.
hold on.
not
So
true.
stand by. So let me see if I understand this. Right? Okay. If your woman wants love and affection from you and expects love and affection from you and is not getting it, so asks for it, you're gonna be like, nah.
Well, first of all,
You gotta wait
first
until
of all,
until you not asking no more. That's some bullshit.
First of all,
It
love and
doesn't
affection
work
is
like
something that
that,
should have
though.
been fucking taken care of from the beginning or conception of y'all relationship. If you wait until
Right,
y'all in the
yeah.
middle of y'all damn marriage and shit, and you wondering where the fuck is the damn love and affection, there's a goddamn problem.
Hey man, sometimes shit falls off. Sometimes people get lost in everyday life. You think that when you're married, everything's gonna be perfect every fucking day? That's not
I can tell
reality,
you from
bro.
experience
You
that
got-
ain't
That is
reality.
not
gotta
reality.
work that
So
shit
yeah,
out.
sometimes
You gotta
you gotta
motherfucker-
reel
you
it
gotta
in. And
motherfucker,
I've
you
never
got shit
been
to
married,
work
so
out
let me.
with.
So I've never been married, so I'm not speaking from experience, but I've been in long relationships where shit is perfect and great and wonderful at one point in time, and then time passes and you lose that spark sometimes.
That
and
is
you
a
gotta
reality,
you gotta remember, like, oh shit, I do love this person. Oh shit, I haven't done this in a while. Oh shit, blah 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 blah. And we sit down and we talk like, hey baby, this hasn't happened in a while. Let's do this. Oh, so you're telling me that now that I've brought it up to your attention, Cray, right? So now that I've brought it up to your attention, you don't wanna give it to me because I brought it to your attention?
But
that's bullshit.
No. But I will say this: that doesn't mean you're gonna get it right then and there.
Not what
No,
I'm
you
saying.
ain't not.
That's not what I'm saying.
You ain't not. No, what you're saying is if your woman asks for something, you don't want to give it to them until they're not thinking about it. That's what you're saying.
No,
That's not
what
what
I
I'm
think.
saying. That's
So
not what I'm
what
saying.
I'm saying is, I don't know what he's saying, but what I'm saying is, if you're saying that and you're lacking that, okay, I will work on that shit. But you got to realize that when you are asking for it and keep asking for it, that doesn't mean it's going to happen right then and there.
Okay, so let me
It'll
ask you.
happen
That ain't even
when the
organic.
time is right. Is when it's going to happen. That
So let
it
me
happens.
ask you,
It's
when
baby
does it?
steps.
So when does it? So let's say, Shardae asks you,
Mm-hmm.
babe, we haven't cuddled after sex in a while. Okay.
Well, I don't like to
so
cuddle.
lately, which I don't think anybody's gonna say, but I'm just putting something out there. So lately, you just been hitting it real good, blah blah blah, and then you just bounce.
Mm-hmm.
You go in the shower, clean up, blah blah blah. That shit makes me feel a type of way.
Okay.
When do you start correcting that?
I will start working on that slowly but surely.
So the next time you
Now
have
that you
sex, you're
told
gonna
me
hit
that.
it and then go to the shower? No, you're probably gonna hit it, right? You're gonna have sex.
That's a bad.
And then you're gonna it's
not a
not
good
because
example,
it is
though.
a good example. It is a good
No,
example
because that's an example that
everything
can
can be placed into
actually be
action.
changed at that next instance. But you need to talk about something that happens over time.
Like what?
Sex can happen every fucking day.
It can.
It really can. So that's
But-
something that can
but
change
it doesn't.
overnight. Depends on what relationship you're in.
Oh, we can get into our next topic.
Oh shit! But what I'm saying is, like,
So
that's
give me an
something that can
example.
change overnight.
But that's
Okay,
something that you
so-
can consciously decide this is what I'm
A
gonna do.
But
good
like,
example.
oh my
I'm not
God.
saying that was a bad example, but I'm saying a better example
What?
would be public signs of affection.
Okay.
That's something that happens over time.
Okay.
Right?
I
Because you're
agree.
always gonna be out in the public. So it's like, okay, I don't kiss you enough in public. All right, so I mean, every now and then I might just, rope
But
you up,
then that
give you a little
sounds,
kiss or
dog.
something
That
out in
sounds so
public.
robotic.
But that's
Like, why would
something
you
that-
even
but
want
that's-
that
that's
shit? Why would
almost-
you want
that's almost
something
the
that you
same
have
thing.
to fuss about?
That's almost the same thing because you're consciously making an effort the next time you go out. Oh shit, let me hold her hand for like.
But
10
is it an
seconds
effort
so
or
she
is he
can
just
feel
trying
something.
to get you to shut the fuck up?
Bro, it's not
not
about
really.
it's not about making that person shut the fuck up. Whether if it's her or a he, right? It's about giving that person what they desire.
need.
I mean,
so
'cause
if you
at the
gotta
end of the
force
day,
yourself
it's compromise,
to be a
right?
little bit uncomfortable
Then that's
to
not
make
for
them
you.
feel a little bit comfortable, then I feel like that's a compromise that is worth it.
Yeah.
Now, if you gotta
I
make
agree with
yourself
that.
uncomfortable, that's like out of like that you're just fucking your whole shit up because they want to be comfortable. That's different, right? Because it's at that point you're sacrificing yourself.
But that could go both. That could go
I mean,
both
but you're
ways,
doing
yeah.
that regardless. You're doing that regardless, but what I say when it comes to compromise, that is that vulnerability. That's something that I'm not used to. That's a weak point for me, so I got to do this shit over time. It's the compromise in the relationships that are so key because that comes down to the vulnerabilities.
Right, and also with the compromise is like you have to think to yourself, this is something that this person wants from me, and if I don't do this, this is going to compromise the relationship or end the
I might lose
relationship.
it.
Yeah.
Now,
And it's
what
a
is
weakness
the
for 'em.
worst? Is it worth losing this person, or is it not worth losing this person? Or
Yeah.
you just don't
Yeah.
care, or
I mean,
Yeah.
but that's
You
when you
don't
gotta
see yourself with
dissect
that
your
person long term.
relationship too. And it
But
all
you gotta
depends on-
also hone in on your weaknesses, which is not easy for people.
No, it's not.
It is
I
so.
agree.
But what I say when I say that, because when people be like, "Well, how long the fuck is it gonna take?" It depends on how weak that person is in that perspective field that you're trying to get.
Right.
but also too,
It takes time, and maybe they need the help. They need the help with that shit because they don't know how to do it.
People also rely on their past experiences. Like, say for instance, they've been in relationships where they just I'm gonna say for a guy's point of view, they do whatever the fuck they want to do, and then if the woman ain't with it, then fuck it. Like say what Love said, she was like she wants to be cuddled after sex. Now if the dude just usually,
I mean, that was just an example.
I'm just still rolling with your
like
example.
to be cuddled, yeah.
I'm just rolling with your
Ain't nothing wrong
example.
with being
And
cuddled,
the dude
right?
is just used to being like bouncing afterwards and like, shit, I got shit to do. You know, you came, I came. Shit, I'm good, you good. I got shit I got to do.
I mean,
but
And so now
but
you
too,
coming
like,
at him
if-
sideways like, babe, where you going? Come back. Just stay here with me for a moment. He like, shit. Everybody else be with the shit I'm talking about. So, bitch, you need to get what I'm talking about.
I see what you're
But like
saying.
too,
It's
another thing is too, like honestly, man, like yo, like sometimes, bro, you just gotta accept people for who the fuck they are. Like you can't just be having all these damn expectations and shit. And like you know from the jump that this is not.
Oh no! So we gonna cut
You know,
that.
like, you know that this is not the
Go
type
ahead,
of person
Craig,
that
and
they are,
elaborate.
but you over here
Dig
getting
yourself
mad
in the
about
hole.
Okay,
Like-
you're not the type of person that person wants. Then you need to get the
Yeah,
fuck
I'm not
out.
gonna accept you for what you are when
Well,
I
then
know
why
what I
you
need.
with the person
So
then?
we get,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
we can compromise. I'm willing to compromise. I'm sure I don't want to do all the shit you want to do.
Yeah,
That's-
that's when the
That's
compromisation is
compromise.
key.
I mean,
And
that's
that's
cool.
when
That's
a
cool. But
relationship
like,
is
come
key.
on now. People are who they are. At the end of the day,
I'm
it
not
don't
trying
matter
to
how
change
much you
you.
try to change just one part of this person. That's just how the fuck they are, how they gonna be. Like,
Well,
But
then I'm
you
not
see,
the person
but
for
you see how that can create. Okay, that can create some real rough patches in someone's
Yeah,
relationship
but then you talking
they
about trying to
constantly
be
feel
vulnerable.
like
You trying to-
hold
This
on,
is
I'm
who
not-
I am.
They constantly feel like they're being whatever, like they're missing something, right? So let's say you constantly feel like you're missing something within your relationship, and you try to talk to your partner about it, and she's like, "Okay, cool, I'll work on it. Okay, cool, I'll work on it. Okay, cool, I'll work on it." At some point,
You
you're
going
gonna be
somewhere
like, "Damn, yo, like this ain't changing. I feel like shit." Boom, boom, boom. Whatever, however big or small that is, that's gonna start creating animosity within the relationship.
Yeah, it will.
You're gonna start acting out in ways that
You're
you
gonna be
probably don't
unhappy.
even know.
That's true.
And then eventually that relationship will fall apart.
And
It
then
does
people
it
will
happen
start-
automatically? No, because I feel
that ain't
like there's
always
a
true
stigma
neither.
that people hit it and quit it, right? That people just try at something really hard, and when it doesn't work out, it falls apart.
That-
I don't think that's always the case. So like in terms of relationships that are like valuable to you, you want to continue to try to work on things, but eventually you're going to continue to fill that void, and eventually you will walk away.
And I feel like too,
I don't agree with that.
I feel like too, if a person is constantly telling you that they are lacking a certain thing or they need a certain thing, they're gonna seek that
And
somewhere
someone
else.
Yep.
Even if it's just like,
But
I
that's
feel
the
like
whole
you
part
don't
of being
communicate
married.
enough.
It's-
But
need
I
you to
feel
talk to
like
me.
you change for what you want to. Like, you're not
Right.
gonna consistently go to work and say, "This is who I'm gonna come in late every fucking day." You're fucking fired.
Right.
You gonna work. For,
okay.
And when that
that's
is-
just what it is. Like,
Some
you can't
people
just
do
keep
think that.
You about to be
saying,
fired from this relationship.
right? You
in 2
can't keep
seconds.
saying, "Oh, this
And
is
then-
who I am." Accept
And then you go
Right.
find another
no,
job.
that's not gonna work.
What the fuck?
Right. But
That's why they
that's the
accept me
whole
being
point.
tardy every day.
But
Fuck
that's
it.
the whole point. That's the whole
But
point.
why?
That's what I
When, if
mean.
this is what you want, and obviously you thought this was a relationship for
Well,
you.
maybe it was.
So
just-
every
that's
time you
temporary.
think,
like this is the thing. Like we be fighting for shit that don't be working. Like if it don't work, it don't work. But if it's working, let it work. We always trying to change somebody. Like yo, if a
Yo,
person,
it's not
if a
that
person is not
easy,
publicly
bro.
affectionate,
But-
then maybe that's just how they are. They will change if they feel like it's important. If they don't change, then that's just they just don't change.
But-
Son, if I'm
Craig,
telling you,
why
if
we
someone's
Craig?
telling you it's important, it's important.
Why-
So let me ask you, since you are married,
Comedic.
is it that easy? Is it as easy as let it flow? Let it flow. Is it as easy?
It's not easy. I'll tell you that much right there. But that's when the compromise is key, because there's some things that my wife wants me to do that I just can't do. It's not easy for me to do. It's a weakness. So what do I have to do? I have to think to myself, okay, this is what she wants. This is what I'm not good in, which is my weakness. So I gotta work on that. it's going to take some time. Now, on the other side of that, she needs to realize that you can't put a timeline or a deadline on any of this shit because we are in this journey together and that shit happens over time. So, on my end, I got to know that I got to work on this shit. And at the end result, at some point in time, it has to change. Or it's going to be a big-ass problem in our relationship and can be potentially the end of it. Now, on her end, she has to realize I got to take baby steps with this shit. Okay? So it varies on different people. But for me, if it's something that I'm weak in, you're going to have to realize that the shit ain't going to happen overnight.
So let me ask you something.
But know that I'm improving on this shit slowly but surely. Even if you don't see that shit.
That happens through action, but it also can happen through conversation. Like, hey, babe, like, I know I'm lacking in this area. Or I know this is what I'm at. I'm weak in. This is what I'm doing to help this.
You gotta acknowledge it so she knows you're working on it.
So let me ask you something, Committed. Do you, on you too, Craig, do you feel like that men expect the women not to be, hold on, how do I want to word this? That men want the women to be more patient when it's something that they need to work on, but when it's something that the female needs to work on, it should happen instantaneously.
Say that again.
Do you feel like when your wife tells you it's something that she feels you need to work on or something she needs, do you feel like the woman should be more understanding and more patient because it may take you a little longer versus if you tell me I need to work on something, that shit needs to happen instantly?
Well, no, I would never say that something has to happen instantaneously because I'm telling you, if we in this journey, that shit is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight if it's coming from me. It's not going to happen overnight if it's coming from you. But, like you said, love, that
no more drinking on the job.
The acknowledgments and the conversations are key. If you start with that and you making slow gains, that's fine with me.
Right.
Over time, there's going to be a change. That's all I need. I'm not going to look for that shit right then and there.
Hell no. Because that shit ain't going. That shit not about to happen right then and there.
But as long as you can acknowledge it and say, yo, okay, babe, I see what you're saying. I'm going to work on that. You're going to see a change over time with me.
And most of the time, guys already know what the issue is. They're just trying to figure the shit out in their own fucking own way. They don't need to have a conversation every damn week about the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, that's true, too, because that's the difference between the men and the women. Men, we like I always say, we think logically about it. When we think logically about shit, we think to ourselves. That's just kind of how we are.
So women don't think logically?
That's
he might say we think emotionally.
Y'all think emotionally, but over time, if generalization, y'all been hardwired to think emotionally about things. We've been hardwired to think logically about things. That's the difference between me and you. So your weakness, putting y'all in a box, okay? Your weakness may be the logic.
First of all, I don't belong in no fucking box.
See, here we go.
No.
Oh shit!
That's an emotional response. Okay?
I'm in a jazz.
Well, what I'm saying is the logic. Sometimes we have to go to ourselves and be like, okay, let me figure out how I'm gonna do this shit. Yeah. Y'all yapping in our ear ain't gonna help the situation at all.
I think how that may come off emotional because we're emotional about whatever we're telling you. However, we do think logically because before we come to you about anything, even though it comes off as emotion, we are thinking about it. We've probably thought about it longer than you've ever even considered it.
That's because your weakness is the logic, so it's going to take you longer to come up with that.
Wait, what?
That's because your strength is the emotion, so the logic is going to take you longer to think about that and come up with it.
I don't think logic has to do with time frame of coming up with anything. I think coming up with stuff is having to do with how to present it in a way that men will be able to take it. I mean, not necessarily you, but like men will be able to take it and understand it because it is coming from a female perspective.
And I think with us women, we look at things differently from men. Like we will put ourselves in other people's shoes, and if I came at this person this way, how would I feel? Whereas guys,
I don't know
you
about
guys
that.
don't do that. Y'all just
I don't know about
straight
that.
shooters,
I don't know
whatever.
about that.
Nah, we ain't
No,
straight
I
shooters
feel
out
like
here.
some
I'm
men,
kind of iffy
you
on
know,
that.
I-
A lot of women just think
Yeah.
about themselves. I feel like that is.
Oh hell no!
Right,
See,
that's a
I was
whole
about to defend y'all motherfuckers, and here he go.
He been
No,
dealing with
women are
some
natural
ratchet
nurturers.
broads.
I guess so.
No,
You, that's a
no, y'all
lie.
not. Because
That's
when
a
it
lie.
with the
come to
ratchets
like
and the
when it come to the
scammers.
aspect of like other motherfuckers, like it could be somebody's mother. Like, why you got to see your mother every day? You over her house more than you over here.
Oh hell no! Whoever the fuck that is needs to go.
I'm just
well,
saying.
sometimes some of
I
y'all
was
love
using that
mother's
as an
boys.
example, but it be other shit like that. It be little shit like that. Like
Mama's
women
boys
can be
is a
very,
little
very
different than
selfish.
mama's.
Right.
Because if
Yeah,
women weren't
mama's
so
boys is a little
selfish,
different.
if women weren't so selfish, polyamory would be a very big thing right now.
Shut
shit,
your.
here we go.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we in it now.
No.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah,
It's the truth.
No.
And if men weren't so selfish, then the polyandry would be a thing.
Men are selfish
is a
too.
thing.
Men are that. Men are selfish.
Men are
But
very
I
selfish.
think
If men weren't
hold
selfish,
up,
they wouldn't
Comedic,
think
what was
about
that thing that you
polyamory.
said to me the other day when I asked you about swinging?
huh?
What?
You said, hell no. Ain't no another man dropping nothing in my woman.
That's just me though. That's just me. There's a lot of guys who are
That's
cool
just
with that.
me. Yep.
But what's the difference with polyamory and swinging? It's the same thing to me.
No, it's not.
You why
it's
can't you
not.
have another man?
I
But
was
you
told
got
that
another
So remember-
polyamory isn't necessarily sex. Is
So-
that true?
It's not. So they be trying
Yes,
to say it's about
you're right.
economics
Now,
and it's gonna help.
now
the
remember
world.
what I told you.
It's a
Golden.
lot of
I mean, we can
dudes.
get a
I
nanny for
told you.
that.
Remember
We
what I
can get a
told you?
nanny.
It's a lot of dudes
That-
in polyandrous
We can get a
situations that don't realize it.
nanny for that shit.
Oh my gosh.
You can
She
get
can
a
be
what?
a live-in nanny.
Now,
She can be
think
an
about-
old ass nanny.
Think about who our listeners are. You never know. Okay, so let me put this out there now. If you tell a person that's polyamorous that they swinging, that can be looked at as disrespectful because they don't want to be called a swinger. They're not a swinger. Swinging and polyamory are two
That
different
is two
things.
different things.
Two totally different
Oh,
things.
Craig, you sound very familiar
Well,
with
swinging
these
has to
things.
do
Tell
with
us more
sex
about it.
predominantly, and
Exactly. That's the
polyamory has
first
to
thing.
do with the socialize or
A
being
lifestyle?
together. Like
Yeah.
it's about me and two women, or a woman and two men, or however you got it set up,
okay.
being together.
Yeah.
Swinging is just
Yeah.
about sex. I'm gonna fuck his wife, he gonna fuck my wife. Then we gonna fuck each other's
Exactly.
wives together, and then we gonna fuck our wives while they watching each
And
other
fuck each
get
other.
fucked by. That's just about sex. That shit ain't about shit.
Yeah, it really. And now they're both lifestyles. Don't get it wrong. They're both lifestyles, but they totally different. So if you come to a polyamorous person and be like, "Oh, what y'all just do, swinging and shit," that's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah,
Some people don't view it like that. It's like you could have one with the other. You could do that, but for the most part, a lot of people they separate that shit. They're two totally different things.
I think
no
that
polyamory going
I
on.
think that
We need
with
to
the
get some damn
swinging
polyamory
thing,
people on this damn show.
I think with the swinging thing and the situation where like I was talking to Comedic about who was it? It was Tretch. He was on the Breakfast Club and he was talking about how him and Pepper had broads or whatever, and then Pepper dipped off with one of the girls and he felt like that was cheating. I feel like that does open the door for either the man or the woman
I'm
going off with
selfish
the
and I'm
third person.
territorial.
Yo,
so
I was
ain't
about to say
nobody
the same
sharing.
thing.
This Leo and me ain't playing. You not what? You want a piece of mind? Nah.
But see, at the end of the day, with whatever relationship you in, monogamy, swinging, polyamory, polyandry, etc., the key thing is consent with the other person.
Well, there is
True.
no consent.
Yeah.
No, there's got to be consent.
No, I'm saying.
If there,
With her,
yeah.
she
It ain't
means with
happening.
her.
I see what you're saying, but if there is no consent,
Okay.
then yes, that is
Hey, but
cheating.
Comedic, let me ask this question, bro.
Is it that you have to have ground rules before you do?
No, you don't necessarily. I
Let me
mean,
ask-
I think
So there's a permission slip.
For me, there should be some type of ground rule set.
That's a
Right.
permission slip.
Hey,
No, it's not a damn permission.
Because,
Let me- can I
because if you
interject?
guys are like,
Can I-
okay, we're open to having other people in our bedroom, but that's just where it's going to end at. Versus,
If that's the
I'm
type of
communicating
relationship
with
you
the
have.
side person without you, and then I'm dipping off doing my
But
own
can I-
thing with
can-
the side
can I
person. and
interject
you
real
looking at me
quick?
like I'm
Can I
cheating, but you
interject real
introduced
quick?
me to that person.
Go ahead.
All right,
Go
this
ahead, bro.
goes back to the whole thing about what Love was saying about the whole compromise and shit and all that shit, right? Now, if you were a man and he comes from a polyamorous background. He got Muslim family members or whatever the hell, whatever. And y'all in a relationship, and he like, look, babe, I want to have another woman or another wife because I just feel like we could use some help or we could use some of this or some of that. And you're not willing to change. You know what I'm saying? How?
I don't think that's a changing thing.
Now the conversation is flipped on the woman. So where do we go
like
from
if
there?
You coming from that background before you marry that person, you should know if they were going to be okay with that before.
Okay, so now it becomes a point in time where you should know before you get into the situation. That's
Here's no, because if you know that that's what you want from the get-go, then that's something that needs to be opened up in discussion, in our opinion. Right. So like if you know from the beginning, okay, once I marry this person, or let's say you decide you're gonna marry this person, and at that point you're like, okay, in the future, I would want to have a second wife. Then when you decide to propose to this person, or before you propose to this person, you discuss, hey, I see you in my future. I want you to be my wife, but this is my lifestyle that I want to live. And if that person doesn't agree with that, that's it.
Y'all see how I get real? Start getting real logical now and shit.
Let's do this because we coming up on time and shit.
You lucky.
How is that?
So I want y'all to remember this. Hold up, Craig, because we gotta create another episode on this shit. We do.
We need to extend this shit.
So, yeah, we will. This is part 1. Okay. Goddamn, this goes into vulnerabilities like
that shit. Is
okay,
insane.
You open this box, Shardae. Okay.
Open the box.
All right. So, at this point, because we don't have that much time left, I want to acknowledge somebody that left us a voice message, right? So, with the Dirty Mouth Radio, we upload on Anchor. We got a lot of different platforms. So this person named Raphael Tommy actually left us a voice message.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to play this thing right now. Hold on.
Yo, shout out to Dirty Mouth Radio. This Raphael from Can You Blame Me podcast, man. Just checked out the newest episode. I'm a first-time listener. Just wanted to show my support. Hey, you doing your thing, big dog. I really enjoyed the content talking about Boozy and the Capitals, man. Keep that thing going, bro. Once again, just wanted to send my support real quick. Raphael, Can You Blame Me podcast. Feel free to check me out on Google, Anchor, Spotify, you name it. But yeah, salute, big dog. Love.
All right, so Raphael Tommy, man, we just put that out there for you, man. We appreciate all the love.
Appreciate you,
We're
big
gonna
homie.
check his podcast out. Can You Name Me podcast?
Yeah.
Can you name
Can
me?
you blame me? I'm sorry. Can you blame me?
Can you blame me?
So we're gonna check that out, man. Most definitely, man. Appreciate all the love, all the
you,
continued
Raphael.
support. Back at you, brother. So we gonna
Thanks for the
definitely put you
love,
down.
baby.
Most definitely. So with this episode concluding, after all it got hot in here.
Legalities.
It got hot up in here. Oh my gosh. So with that being said, this is your boy, Comedic Energy.
This is love.
Your girl Golden.
Shardae.
Boy, Cray Nuke, big dog.
So I just want to give you like 30 seconds, love, to promote your podcast.
Oh man, you putting me on the spot.
Of course.
When you put me on the spot like that, everything comes out of my head.
Yeah, I feel you.
Check us out on it's me, myself, Love, Moon, and Maria on our podcast. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on Anchor. You do most of our
Livewire Sound and Entertainment does it all, but yeah, they're on YouTube, Anchor, they're everywhere.
And what's the name of it again?
Supreme Discussions from a feminine perspective. Sorry, y'all.
We've been
No
drinking.
more drinking on the job, y'all. No more drinking, no more cupcakes.
All right, so listen to
my
us,
goodness.
Supreme Discussions from a feminine
drinking like
perspective.
shit.
We do it once a month. We falling behind this month, but we're gonna catch up next month. Two podcasts for next month, and we'll continue on that way.
All right, now we'll post up to everything. We'll give y'all some love too. We'll put it all up there. The Can You Blame Me podcast, Supreme Discussions from a Feminine Perspective, and Dirty Mouth Radio. We post it all up, man. We gotta make it. We pods in color out here.
Hey, yeah.
So
I'm
with that being
Rooting for
said,
everybody black. Hey.
so with that being said, peace out, peoples.
Peace.
Take it easy.
Peace.
This show is produced by Livewire Sound and Entertainment. If you're looking to rent premium sound equipment for your next concert or podcast at a low price, go to www.livewiresoundent.com.